Hey everybody, welcome to the Start Marketing Podcast. This is Joe Sanders with you. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully you have subscribed to our podcast. You could listen to some of our other episodes about how we are helping people develop strategies for their social media and digital marketing campaigns so that they can actually market things as opposed to just posting things out into the wind. Today's topic is going to be about the difference between posts and ads. With me as always, well, maybe not always, but with me a bunch of times on this, doing a great job, is Jillian Kernats. Jillian, say hi to everybody over there.
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Great. So Jillian's going to be with us today. We're going to be talking about the difference between posts and ads and how we can use both of them together in order to drive marketing strategy that works. So, the first thing I want to talk about here is, of course, I always start off every episode by telling you about our 5-step process. I think it's really important to understand this because we are talking about not posting, but we are talking about marketing. There's a book that I wrote on Amazon. It is called Stop Posting, Start Marketing. You can check it out. I break down all this stuff. But really quick, we have a 5-step process that will help you do just that. The first step is to find the right audience. The second step is to create the right content. The third step is to promote your business as a brand. Fourth step is to use ample resources. And the fifth step is to analyze the results. Built into all that is a marketing strategy that will work for any digital platform at any time, even ones that haven't been invented yet. So this is kind of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to help people do. So go back and listen to other episodes. We'll catch you up on all those topics as well as some other things. But this is something that comes a lot, this difference between posts and ads. And, what's the difference? Should I boost this post? Should I advertise this? Should I spend money on this? And we're going to talk about that today. So let's dive right in here and talk about what the difference between posts and ads actually are. So Jillian, somebody who, just so you know, Jillian is like our social media guru over here. She has been working on social media marketing campaigns for probably, dare I say, hundreds of companies. Can I say that?
Yeah, that might be fair.
I think it is. Hundreds of companies and probably dozens of different industries. She's pro at this. And so Jillian, okay, so let's say we're in social media marketing 101. Somebody comes to us and says, hey, what is the difference between a post and an ad? What would you say? Yeah.
So to put it kind of simply, ads are essentially strategic content that you put money behind. They can either be posts that you turn into ads, or you can place them in places that aren't necessarily on your feed. And you're paying to have specific people see your ads. Whereas posts are kind of just anything that you share on your social media feeds. With posts, you're only reaching people organically. And the majority of which are people that are already following you. And so, posts are free and the results can be good. But the downfall of them is that it's very time consuming. It's very hard to do. You're kind of fighting against the algorithms these different social media platforms have in place. So it can be worth the investment to create some ads as well if it's done properly.
Definitely. And I would say if you're going to spend money on this and you're going to actually run these ads, please go back. Look, you don't have to use my strategy if you don't want to, but use a strategy. Don't be one of these like marketers who just, we call it shotgun marketing, right? And it's like, oh, I'm just going to, here's a $300 on this post. And then a week later, where'd all that money go? It didn't work. Please, if you're going to do this, have a strategy. We have a strategy. I think it works pretty well. I think it would help almost anybody. Go back, listen to our episodes, get our book, learn that strategy. But Jillian is absolutely right. The difference between posts and ads is basically the difference between organic and paid advertising, basically is the difference. People, what's interesting is that, before we had this COVID thing, I used to speak sometimes at schools, and these high school kids that I would speak to always ask me, what's the difference between advertising and marketing? Do people ever ask you that? Is that like a thing that comes up sometimes?
Yeah, I've definitely heard it before. People kind of think it's interchangeable.
Yeah, and it kind of is, but I would, so just before we go any further, this is what I would say. Not that it really matters that much, but like if you wanted to market a sandwich at your restaurant, the strategy is the marketing aspect of that. It's the execution of the strategy. Putting a picture on your wall, putting a picture in the mail, or putting a video out on YouTube is advertising your product. But the marketing is really the strategy. And I think somebody might argue with me and tell me that that's actually not accurate, but it's my podcast, so I really don't care. So let's talk about this. So when we use the word organic versus paid, what we mean by this is that organic is basically free, right? Now I'm going to I'm drawing with my fingers that you can't see, a little asterisk next to the word free. I'm going to talk about that a little later, and that organic marketing is really not free, but it's the difference between organic and paid. And Jillian's right. A lot of times, if you have a really strong audience, if you've got a lot of people following your pages, sometimes the organic is just fine. Other times it can be a real grind because you can be posting all these things out there and nobody will ever see your stuff because you don't have enough clout in the market or enough people out there following you to actually get anybody to do anything, which is why the ads portion comes in. So Jillian, let me ask you this. So is one of those two, we'll continue to just call it posts or ads. Is one of those more important than the other? Do they both have the same value in the world of marketing, in your opinion? What would you say to that?
I would say it kind of depends on your business, and I would say that you kind of want to use them both interchangeably and for different things.
Right. We have some clients we have their audience so dialed in and their product so dialed in that we can post we have this one, I think I mentioned before, this pancake house that we run, and I could post a picture of a pancake and just say, pancakes are delicious with a little smiley face. And I would probably get 100 likes by the end of the day.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
honestly. There are other restaurants that we rep, just so that you guys know, we're not God's gift to marketing over here. There's other restaurants we have. If I did that on some page, I'd get 0 likes unless I boosted it to a right audience and maybe included a call to action. So the organic to the paid, I don't think either one is more valuable than the other. I agree with you. I think it depends on how you use it, right?
Right.
And so let's talk about that. So, in terms of ads and posts, when you really have something that you need to say and you really need people to do something for you, I think that's the time, if you're going all in on a campaign, to really spend that money and turn those posts into ads. Because if you have a goal, you're going to have any marketing goal or any marketing strategy is going to require a budget. Right. I mean, no matter what you do. So I think there are times when the organic is fine, but I think if you're trying to open up a new restaurant, if you're trying to sell a new shoe at your building, or if you're trying to, promote a new, product that your company is selling, and you need to get eyeballs on that, a lot of times you're going to have to go into a process by which you're advertising, you're paying for these ads to get out to the right people. Let's talk about the Facebook algorithm, because Jillian mentioned this. So let me just dive into this. Jillian, actually tell you what, before we do that, tell me in your opinion, what is the value of an organic post in your opinion? Like, what is the value of that? If I had something that I really needed to say and I had a really, really good page, let's say I have a ton of engagement on my page all the time and I have all these people that are following me. Should I still advertise it? Should I still put money behind it? Or will the organic usually be enough?
I think most of the time, if you see a post doing well organically, it does benefit to boost it and reach more people. But there is an authenticity to just the purely organic. Whereas if I was to see my friend share something from a business and say something positive about it, I would want to learn more about that business as opposed to just seeing a sponsored paid ad,
Right. That's a great point, because a lot of, depending on who is promoting the product or promoting the message has so much to do with it. Because you would want to, if your friend shared a post from a business, you would want to be interested in that business, not based on the business, based on the relationship that you have with the person who shared it. Right. This goes back to my notion that I say all the time, that marketing hasn't changed, because that is the oldest form of marketing in the book that you could, and you have human nature. It's like, oh, if somebody that I know recommends something from somebody else, then I'm going to be generally interested in that because of my relationship with the person. It doesn't matter. The cool thing about digital marketing is, especially from an organic perspective, is that now if let's say Jillian has something that she thinks I'd be interested in, or she wants to share with her friends, with a click of a button, she could reach 10,000 people, as opposed to having, old school telephones, or even going back and forth and just talking about it at a local, bar or something. That's a really good point. And I agree with you. I think the value of organic posts are way undervalued. I think a lot of times when people go to do digital marketing campaigns, they focus completely on the paid side, and they don't focus enough on, well, if I'm building the right audience, then I should get organic gains if I have the right people following me, right? I think that's cool. But let me take a minute here. This might take me a few minutes to explain how the Facebook algorithm actually works. And I'll use Facebook because it's sort of the big one. It's sort of the genuine one. And most social media sites run this way as well. So back in the day, there was two kinds of page. You could have one kind of page on Facebook. If it was me, or if it was my business, or if it was my organization, it didn't matter. It was one page. Facebook at one point said, you know what? We don't want to do that anymore. Now we're separating everybody's pages. Now, if I want to be Joe, I'm Joe. If I want to be Joe's business, that's a separate entity. I can't be the same page, right? And why do they do that? They did that because there was a time, and if you look back in the history of Facebook, there was a time when people actually stopped. People were leaving Facebook. They were getting away from it. They didn't want any more to do with Facebook. Why? They were getting spammed all the time. Because if I'm following 10 bands that I like and 50 friends on Facebook, okay, and so I'm following Jillian's family because I want to see pictures of her nieces and nephews and whatever. But let's say of those 10 bands that I like, what if 8 of them are going on tour this summer? If 8 of them are going on tour this summer and they're all posting stuff to get me to buy tickets to that, and all of that is hitting my page at the same time, I'm going to get a little frustrated with Facebook. So if Facebook decided to do, they said, listen, here's what we're going to do. If you are family, if it's a person, you will continue to see their posts whenever they post, as long as you're following them. But if it's a business, you're only going to see their posts 3 to 5% of the time. Okay. Now, this is huge. And a lot of people don't know this because I've talked to business owners who have no idea what's going on. And they go, well, I have 10,000 people following on Facebook. What do I need you for? I go, well, you have like 0 engagement. I said, the reason for that is because when you post something, you think it's being seen by 10,000 people. It's only being seen by like 3% of your 10,000 people. And then Facebook said, well, hey, how about we figure out a way to make up $1 jillion? Do you want to show that post to all of your 10,000 followers? What do you have to do, Jillian? What do you do to Facebook to show it to all those people? What do you do?
Boost it, advertise, pay money.
You pay them, right? Exactly. Yeah. You pay them. They say, well, you can show this to all your people, but you have to pay us. Okay. So when you're posting organically on your business pages, and again, we're talking about business pages here, not personal pages. When you post on your business pages, you are only going to be seen by 3 to 5% of the people that are actually following your page. However, another asterisk I'm drawing on my little fake board here. Let me explain it just one more step here. So let's say Jillian and I both really like Toyota. I don't know why I said that, but I did. And we both follow the Toyota page. And for some reason, I just drove a Toyota one time, thought it was awesome, so I followed their page. Jillian really likes Toyota. She has like a Toyota car and a Toyota. I don't know what else Toyota makes, but she has a shirt. She loves technology when it comes to cars, and she's all about that. So she goes to the Toyota Facebook page all the time. I only went that one time. Now the Facebook algorithm, this is how it works. Now the Toyota algorithm is going to be 3 to 5% of everybody that's following the Toyota page plus Jillian. Why? Because Jillian is telling the algorithm she wants that kind of content. Okay? Does that make sense? Were you guys with me on this? So the trick with organic content then is the more you can get people to engage with it and visit your page more often, interact with your content, you will get more organic reach with your posts, which essentially is free. Okay? But like I said earlier with my first asterisk, think about how much time and money it takes to pay in order to drive that organic traffic so that you have that. Was that clear, Jillian, what I just said? Mm-hmm. Am I confusing people?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm a marketing person.
That's true. I want people to understand it's not all that complicated, but it's a little complicated. Just hear me out in the fact that I'm telling you that. Your organic content, you're only going to show it to 3 to 5% of the people, but the more of those, you can drive that percentage up. Now, all I'm saying is you can make that percentage 10% or 20% or 50%. You really can. But you need people that are engaging with your content all the time, which is why I said earlier, we have some clients that we can post a picture of anything and it gets tons of engagement because those people are engaging with us constantly. All right. So that's what Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and those places want you to do. They want you to engage with this. Okay. So that we understand organic is a way to this, but how do we use, so Jillian, I'm going to throw this back to you. How do you use paid advertising to drive our organic business? How do we use paid in order to get more organic follows on social media? How do you do that? Because that's an interesting strategy.
So I think that you can, I kind of said before, but if you see posts that are doing well organically, you can boost them and kind of ride the success of that organic reach, and that'll help. I think paid, in addition to using like organic posting, is something you want to do to increase your chances of getting in front of new eyes and attracting new customers, as opposed to the percentage of followers, as you were saying, that would normally see them. And I think it's really beneficial when you want to promote something new deals, new products, events, or when you have more specific goals or call to actions in mind.
Yeah, you're right. And so if you think about it this way, the trick really to digital marketing is to get engagement. And we talk about that a lot. Engagement can be whatever we want it to be. Engagement leads to a call to action, which could be buy this, go here, give me your email address, come to my event, whatever it is. But the engagement really starts that process, right? So the trick then is to figure out how many people can I reach, right? We talk about CPMs, cost per 1,000 impressions. Again, listen to our previous episodes. We'll explain how to do this. I have a chapter in my book about this too. Man, I just keep doing that, don't I? You can read this. I actually put the CPM equations in the book because I'm a total nerd. But yeah, so you can figure this out. But then, how many people are reaching, then how many people need to engage with our content? And then we also talk, it leads to the call to action, but it also it calls to that, that the revenue purchase or the lead generation, whatever it is, but it also leads to more people following me and engaging with me, which creates more in organic, right? So it's a perpetual system. The more I spend, but if I spend my money in the right places and I'm doing actual marketing strategy that actually works, then the more, theoretically, more people should be interacting with my posts and my page so that they follow me, which makes the cost of me going out into the market to spend money cheaper. Right? I'm not confusing people, am I? Because this is sort of, I'm confusing myself a little bit, but that's how this works. You have to think about it this way. It's kind of like Jillian, like you said, if you have a really great post that you posted organically, sometimes you exploit that by putting some money behind it. It's kind of like having a little snowball at the top of the hill, right? You have this little snowball and you just kind of roll it and it just starts picking up more snow. And then you give it a huge push. And by the time it gets all the way down to the end of that hill, it's a huge snowball. Sometimes you have to give your posts a push. Right. But the more that you do that and the more people that you can get to interact with your posts and your content, next time you post, you'll be doing that equation. Like I said, that 3 to 5% plus Jillian or plus Joe or plus Mark or whoever it is. Now you've got all these people that you're teasing the algorithm. You're winning. Right. And so now you have a more powerful organic posting while you're still maintaining your paid advertising. Right. And that is sort of the trick. And I think it's sort of this thing that you just have to kind of wrap your brain around that idea. Because I have people sometimes that ask us like, why do you spend money on social media advertising? Like, just post it out there. We go, well, we are, but we're trying to, continually grow it. I mean, we have a client that we started working with 5 years ago. We first started this company. They had like 4,000 followers at the time. They have over 20,000 followers now on their Facebook page. Do you know the power of that? It's insane. Like when they have something to say, now people listen. All right. And that's the trick. When you have a call to action and you have nobody paying attention to you, it doesn't matter, what you do, but when you have people paying attention to you, you can use the organic, you can use the paid, and they will respond and do what you want them to do, which is the trick of marketing anyway. So when it comes to paid ads on all these different social media sites, Jillian, what kind of ads can you run? Like, what can you advertise? And what should you advertise? And what do these ads look like? Are they the same as regular posts and you just put money behind them, or how does that work? What kind of stuff can you advertise and pay money for?
Right. So In terms of what you want to advertise, kind of like I said before, anything you want to do to attract new customers or promote something new or anything you have a specific goal for. And when it comes to kinds of ads, I guess it kind of falls into two categories. You can do boosted posts, which appear on your social feeds. And then there's also dark ads that pop up kind of on social media, but you wouldn't see within your page's social feed.
Okay.
And within those, you can do a whole bunch of different kinds of ads. There's just photo ads, video ads, carousel ads, messenger ads are getting quite popular. Video ads, video is king right now. Lead generation. There's so many different ways that you can use to communicate the message you want to your customers.
So why do they call them dark ads? I mean, I know this, but I'm kind of playing the fan here. So, I mean, okay, you're saying boosted posts and dark ads. Why don't you take a minute and just tell me what that means?
Yeah. Boosted posts are just posts that you would post on your page. Anyone can go to your page and see it there. Whereas dark ads, you can kind of play around and create campaigns where you can place the ads more specifically within the social media platform, but you couldn't go directly to the business's page and see it there.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and thank you for explaining that, because that's important too. Boosted posts are posts that live on your page. Dark ads are posts that aren't, they're dark. They're not bad. It's not like the dark side, like whatever. I'm reading Harry Potter with my kid, and he asked me the other day, he's like, what is the dark arts? And I'm like, it's like the Jedi, and I'm getting off topic here, but dark ads are just ads that don't appear on your page. So they you don't put them on there. And it's interesting that I don't know why they call them that. I think it's a really bad name. I don't know who came up with that.
Makes it spooky. Yeah,
it is. It's stupid. It's a really stupid name. Anyway. But it's really interesting because we're always, one of the things we talk about a lot here is varied content and branding. So let's say you have something you really need to push, like you have this big event coming up at the end of the month. We actually have one, don't we? And we're trying, you're all this stuff. Well, you don't want to post like 10 times a day about this event. You may need that kind of reach. You may need that much push to get this done, right? But if you posted like 10 times a day, or less than 10 times a day, like 3-4 times a day about this event in all these different ways, like Jillian said, carousel ads and video ads and whatever, event ads, your fans of people that are following your page would probably start to unfollow your page. It's going to be like, this is a bunch of junk. I don't want to see this all the time. I don't mind seeing 1 or 2 of these a week. That's fine. But I don't want 3, 4, 5 of these a day. This is really annoying me. So that's how you use the balance between those, because what you do then is you create the campaign on your page that helps you brand your page, brand your business, right? And keep your organic people happy, which is good, with stuff that they want. But then on the other ads, you're just running them all. You got like 30 of them and you're just crushing it all the time. Boom, boom, boom. And you're doing that. So you could still be annoying people, I suppose, with those ads. But when somebody goes to your page, either Instagram page, your Facebook page, or whatever, they're going to look at your page and they're going to see your brand. They're going to say, well, this is not just me all the time. And I want this. I want this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this, because nobody's interested in that. Right. So that's really the beauty of using the dark ads, and if you use them, those ads, basically what that means is on the boosted post, it's like a post, like Jillian said, like if you have a post on your page and it seems like it's doing really well, that's good. Don't always say, well, hey, this post is doing really well, I don't need to do anything with it. No, you should exploit it. If it's doing really well, then make it do even better. Use it like, it's something to say, well, this post isn't doing very well, we should put some money behind it. Well, you could, but putting money behind a post that's doing really well will make it do even better, right? Then what you do, and that's one thing, but then going to the ads manager in Facebook or the Twitter ads platform or Snapchats, whatever, all those kinds of YouTube and Google AdWords and stuff. This is where you have a lot more tools. You're given more, you're able to do more. There's just a lot more functionality. It gets a lot more complicated, quite honestly, with you. But it gives you a lot more tools and a lot more ways to kind of pick different things that you want to do. But if you're starting out with this and you've never done this before, again, I would implore you to get the book or listen to our podcast. I think it would really help, or somebody's book or something that might help you out. But start with some boosted ads. Have a strategy. We have a 5-step. There's other ones you can use. I think ours is pretty good. figure that out. And then, boost some posts, get some data. You need data, right? To figure out, are my ads actually working? And then look at the difference between your organic and your paid and see, what's the difference. I'll tell you this. There have been brands we've had where organic works really well, right, Jillian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Typically, if you're connecting with people on like an emotional level, if you've got something like, if you're like a nonprofit, right? We had a nonprofit we worked with, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And you have something like newsworthy or that's really like hot right now, where you're connecting emotionally with things, like sometimes you don't need to put any money behind anything because people are just ready and willing to share your stuff. Right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so we've seen that before, but I think for the run of the mill brick and mortar business, online retailer that's trying to sell watches or something, like you're going to have to create your brand, which is going to be really deep to get your organic followers. And then the paid ads comes with that strategy of audience and all this kind of stuff. So Jillian, let me ask you one more thing. So when you're developing a strategy for those two things, for organic and paid, is it the same? Is it the same strategy you're developing, or are those two different strategies? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I would say when it comes down to it, they're kind of two different beasts with different goals. Mm-hmm. Organic is really good for, like you said, establishing your brand and personality, entertaining and building and supporting relationships that you already have with people who are already spending time with your business. Mm-hmm. Whereas paid is can be used for targeting more specific audiences who could likely be interested in your business and converting them into customers. And you can do that, as we said, by either boosting your organic content or creating those more unique and complex campaigns. Yeah. And that could all kind of fall under your one overall marketing strategy, but you should definitely approach them differently.
Yeah. And they kind of work together, I guess. I mean, you don't necessarily need to do both all the time, though it's highly recommended that you do. I think a lot of times people fail at digital marketing because they, like I said, took you through the 5 steps. Fourth one is using ample resources. I find that people fail the most there because they haven't put enough resources into their campaigns to actually make them work. They may have some great content. They may have some great videos, some great ads, some great stuff. But I only spent this much. Maybe that wasn't enough to get that done. So I think building from both sides is probably the best way to drive a successful social media marketing strategy, where you're constantly getting people to pay attention to your brand by giving them content that they're interested in, that's on brand, that's worthy of that. And then on the other side, saying, raising, looking for people and say, raise your hand, say, pay attention to me. You would really like what I have to say. And then hopefully turn those people into organic followers as we go. So it's sort of the idea of paid and organic kind of work together, but you use the paid, the organic, is the way to roll, because it's going to be people that care more about your brand, but you use the paid to get more organic people in your roster, if that makes sense. So hopefully we're not confusing people all that much, but I think it's interesting to understand this when you're going into this, because if all you do is, and I'll tell you this, if all you do is paid and you don't do organic, it's probably not going to work unless you have a really, really clear cut call to action that's just like out of this world. But all you do is organic, it probably won't work as well if you never open up and say, man, I really need to expand here because I need more people to do this. But there are times when maybe you can make that work. But I like to use a balance of both. I think it's the best way to have successful social media marketing campaign. So, well, great. I always say this at the end, but that time went by really fast. We're here at the end. Thank you, Jillian. We appreciate your insight and expertise in this. Thanks for listening, folks. I wouldn't be the host if I didn't say this. So please click to subscribe. Our podcast, Start Marketing Podcast, can be found anywhere podcasts are found. So click to subscribe. Check out our earlier episodes. We have some great topics that hopefully will help you. If you need to get a hold of us, if you have any questions about digital marketing or social media, please visit our website at relevantelephant.net. Shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram. If you took the time to listen to us, we'd be more than happy to take the time to listen to you and answer any questions that you may have. And we don't even charge people for this. We're going to do this pro bono because, I don't know, it just feels like the right thing to do. I don't think you could really charge people on podcasts like Ask Questions. we're here to help you. So anyway, thanks, Jillian, again. We appreciate you guys listening. And this is Joe Sanders saying, stop posting, start marketing.